fours and fives.
Yeah.
Nobody's hot.
But was Corinne attractive on her Survivor seasons? Good morning, everybody. Wanted to see what possible nonsense I could talk about today and get up on my soapbox about. And there's been some things that I've noticed online over the past couple days that I did want to talk about. And since I mostly talk about reality television, we might as well start with some reality TV talk with Survivor. Corinne from Survivor, couple different Survivor seasons. I think she was on Gabon. Well, she was on an interview with Brittany from Big Brother talking smack about modern Survivor. And I'm never going to disagree with smack talk about modern Survivor, although I think she took a turn she probably shouldn't have taken with her complaint.
I don't think it's interesting, and I especially don't like it if you don't have hot people on it. What I'm watching right now is like if you ask everyone at the DMV to get naked and go to an island. Like it's just it's fours and fives.
Yeah.
Nobody's hot. And it's really repetitive to me.
Now, I will be the first one to tell you that these modern seasons ain't shit. They are very repetitive. They all do blend together, and I don't love the casting overall. And they are a bunch of nerds, but not necessarily all unattractive. I just think that Corinne should probably not have been the rep from old school Survivor to say this. You know, she's talking to Brittany, and sure, Brittany was conventionally attractive on Big Brother. But was Corinne attractive on her Survivor seasons, or did she look like the 80s Joker from Batman? Because I'm kind of thinking it's the latter when it comes to that. I just don't think Corinne should have used that talking point in her war she decided to wage on modern Survivor and new Survivor, old school versus new school. Now, a new school Survivor did decide to weigh in on all of this and go straight for Corinne as well.
Old era, new era, old era, hotter people, not so hot people. I can list off a bunch of hotties in like 5 minutes. In the last 3 seasons. Let me do you that. How about that? Charity, Thomas, David, Shaheen's even hot. Rachel, like I could go on and on and on and on and on and on and on, but I would never list you. I would never list you.
But at the end of the day, new school Survivor does suck. Like that is just how it will always be. The ratings aren't there for it anymore either. It's not completely the cast's fault though. It falls on Jeff Probst, and it falls on the casting in general. They cast people in the same kind of archetypes season after season now, so that the casts do blend together, and it kind of seems like the same cast. I said that at the beginning of this season, that they all kind of feel like the same casts. But it's not necessarily just that's the problem. It's the format that Jeff decides to go with every year now with the 3 tribes. It's the bad twists come the merge. It's too many powers. Eventually, the game started playing the players instead of the players playing the game, when in the end, what we're looking for is a social game where these players can interact, give us good TV, give us good moves, give us some drama. The format is the problem, not the cast. So I think Corinne maybe should have just had some better arguments than going low, especially for her to go low. I mean, we've always known Corinne to kind of be a miserable person back when she was on Survivor. She proves that even though she is now old, she is still, unfortunately, miserable. Moving on to some celeb news, because over the weekend I talked about how we need to start holding these celebrities accountable, talking about Sweeny being in trouble for her advertisement months ago, which we will follow up on today. But also Mariah Carey has been getting in trouble because of an advertisement as well, because of her Christmas Sephora ad.
Now in the ad, the elves go on strike and basically say they're not going to be doing Christmas this year. The elf complains about basically being underpaid and not even being able to afford elf therapy. The elf is then forcefully turned into a snowman. And a lot of people who saw this ad basically took it as Sephora and Mariah Carey mocking the working class.
She's getting all this blowback being a part of it with this ad that is anti-worker and just in bad taste in the current state of society where grocery prices have not gone down, contrary to what anybody wants to say. I don't see those grocery prices going down, at least not where I am or have been this year. And we see the government's been shut down. People are not getting paid. The job market is as bleak as 2009, studies are showing. And so I can see why this ad is getting the blowback that it is. And unfortunately, these celebrities, when they sign up for these types of ads, they have to accept the blowback. Now, do I think Mariah Carey is going to come out and make a statement about it? I highly doubt it. It's just going to be like all these other scenarios that we've been talking about, where the celebrities and their PR are going to try and just sweep it under the rug because she's getting paid for the ad. She makes a lot of money at Christmas time thanks to her Christmas hit. But I still think that we do need to hold these celebrities accountable. So I am kind of glad that she is getting the blowback that she quite frankly deserves for accepting that job. And tying this to Sydney Sweeny, which we talked about over the weekend, her not wanting to answer the question or avoiding the question on the blowback from her ad months ago. I just find it funny that she wants to have this persona out there in the open, but then she's doing these movies that would not appeal to that archetype. Her latest movie out in theaters has been her latest flop, and she's had a lot of them. She is starring in the movie Christy, which is a movie about a woman boxer who is great at punching people and works her way up into the boxing world. Clearly, whatever kind of people Sydney Sweeny has been trying to appeal to is not working, because this movie is one of the least grossing movies at the box office of all time. It's the 9th worst opening weekend for a movie ever, grossing just 1.3 million on its first weekend. So while Sydney Sweeny has been taking all of these jobs that are either going to cause her to be in controversy or cause her to be in movies that flop very hard, her decision making might be making her money for now, but the long-term goal is she's going to end up in either made-for-TV movies, or she's going to be one of those people that is going to be grifting in a few years, doing God knows what. The trajectory that she is on right now is one of those negative trajectories. Last thing I want to talk about, because I do try lately anyway to bring in some positive stories in an otherwise bleak culture that we are living in. I did see this story on social media coming from good old Canada about these two old women that became friends during COVID. A positive coming out of COVID, where at the time, this woman named Marilyn Simons was 70 years old at the time, and met this woman, Beth Robinson, who was 100 years old at the time. And they got to know each other, and they started walking every week, specifically Wednesdays at 3 p.m. And now Simons has wrote a book on it called Walking with Beth, Conversations with My 100-Year-Old Friend. They're still doing this Wednesday at 3 p.m. walk every week. Marilyn is now 76 and Beth is now 105. still going on this walk. First off, big ups to Beth. I think being active like this and walking once a week clearly does good for the body. In fact, back when I lived in LA, I met this guy who was pushing 100 himself. You never would have known it. He didn't look 100 years old. He didn't sound 100 years old. He still had his mind. He still had his physical ways about him. And I think it's because he was always up and at 'em. Every time I would see him, he would be up and at 'em. He would have some grandpa joke, not even dad jokes, some grandpa jokes to tell me. But yeah, being active, to anybody that is getting up there in age, I think you should start trying to walk once a week, maybe Wednesdays at 3 p.m. Maybe it is a good time to walk. And if they could do this in Canada every week, where it gets cold, I'm sure they don't do it in the snow, I would think, at their age, but I'm sure it gets cold. The Wednesdays that it's cold, maybe you should try and walk as well if you can. But I did appreciate this story, and I think they now call themselves soul friends, because I do think they are both good for the soul. I mean, to be 105 years old, still making a new friend at 100 years old it's great, actually. So I leave you all with that this week. Well, today. I'm sure I'll have more crap to talk on my soapbox tomorrow. Kind of want to try and figure out something different to talk about tomorrow on my soapbox, rather than the usual reality shows or celebrities or soap operas. So I'll see if I could think of something different. If not, maybe you won't see me tomorrow for a soapbox.